Today, we are diving into one of the most baffling and honestly, one of the most powerful stories in all of Zen Buddhism. It's all about a single word, just one word that became a master key to completely shattering our view of reality.
So, Zen masters love this analogy. They say the mind is like a glass of water. When it's totally settled, it's perfectly clear, right? But let's be real. How often does your mind actually feel like that? Yeah, most of the time, it's probably a lot more like the glass on the right. Just muddy, turbulent, and all stirred up.
You know, that mud, that's all our thoughts, our anxieties, our emotions swirling around. Every time something shakes us up, the mud rises and clouds everything. And it feels like we spend our entire lives just waiting for things to settle down, doesn't it? Only for the next thing to come along and kick it all up again.
Well, this is where the Zen approach gets really radical. What if the answer isn't to patiently wait for the water to clear? What if, instead, the goal is to shatter the glass itself? Just let the whole thing go. That incredible idea is really at the heart of the story we're looking at.
Okay, so our story starts with one of the most revered and, frankly, eccentric masters in Zen history, a guy named Zhaozhou. So a monk comes up to him and asks what seems like a pretty standard question, almost like something out of a textbook. Buddha nature, is this idea that all beings have the potential for enlightenment. So the monk is basically asking, hey, does this fundamental truth apply to animals too? Like a dog? And look, according to all the teachings, all the scriptures, the answer is a very, very clear yes. Of course, from the greatest sage to the tiniest little bug, everything has Buddha nature. This was a core concept, the monk knew it, Zhaozhou definitely knew it, everybody knew it. But Zhaozhou just looks at this monk and gives a one-word answer, Mu. And Mu in Chinese means no, or not, or does not have. He just completely, flatly contradicts one of the most basic teachings of his own tradition. And this is the explosion. This is where the whole practice begins. Why? Why on earth would he say no? Was he just being difficult? Was he trying to say the teachings were wrong? This why. It's not a question you're meant to answer with logic. It's a gateway.
You see, Zhaozhou's Mu became maybe the most famous example of a Zen practice that's built on this kind of deep, world-shaking doubt.
This practice is called Hwadu in Korean Zen. And a Hwadu, or koan, it's not a riddle you're supposed to solve with your intellect. No way. It's a tool. And its whole job is to basically short-circuit your rational mind. You literally can't think your way to the answer because the question is designed to break the thinker.
And this journey of doubt, it happens in stages. First, it's just, intellectual curiosity. Why did he say that? But if you stick with it, that little question starts to grow into this mass of doubt. It gets heavy, it's always there, and eventually it can become a block of doubt, where the question isn't something you think about anymore, it is your reality. The old Zen texts have this amazing way of describing this feeling. It's this constant, prickly, uncomfortable pressure. It's not just an idea anymore. It's a physical, all-consuming thing. You can't swallow it and you can't spit it out. You're just totally stuck with it. But here's the thing. When you get that stuck, you don't have to face it alone. This is where the Zen master comes in, and their role is absolutely crucial and often pretty confrontational. Now, you have to get this straight. You don't go to the master to get a hint. They will never, ever just explain what Mu means or give you some neat little answer. Why? Because that would ruin the entire point of the practice. No, the master's job is to turn up the heat. It's to apply pressure. If you come in thinking you've got some clever intellectual answer, they will just tear it to shreds. Their job is to block every escape route, to force you deeper and deeper into that chestnut burr of doubt until something finally has to give. The sources actually describe these encounters as a sword fight, and it's life or death. It's a total test of your commitment. You bring your entire self to this question, and the master meets you with that same intensity, just cutting away everything that isn't the raw, direct question itself. So why? Why all this pressure? Why this intense, deeply uncomfortable process? What's the endgame here? Well, all that relentless internal pressure, which is just amplified by the master, it just builds and builds and builds until it finally reaches a breaking point.
And that's the whole point. The goal isn't to find some new, shiny concept to replace your old ones. It's to shatter the very machine in your head that makes concepts in the first place. It's to break the habit of seeing the world through all these filters: yes and no, right and wrong, me and you. This might be the single most important takeaway. You are not the one investigating this puzzle. It's the other way around. The Hwadu, this koan, it's the tool. And you, with all your fixed ideas, your ego, your old patterns of thought, you are the problem that it solves by completely dismantling you. But of course, with a tool this powerful, there comes an equally powerful warning from the Zen masters. Getting attached to the Hwadu itself is a huge trap. To turn it into some kind of spiritual identity, oh, I'm the person who's been working on Mu for 10 years, that's just missing the point completely. You're just building yourself a new cage. The masters use a perfect metaphor for this. They say the Hwadu is like a raft. Its only job is to get you from one shore, the shore of your normal, everyday thinking, to the other side. And once you're safely across, what do? You don't carry the raft on your back for the rest of your life. You leave it behind. You walk on. So this all kind of leaves us with a question for ourselves, doesn't it? Mu was a master key, designed to break a very specific lock, the lock of dualistic thinking. So if you look at your own life, what are the walls? What are the assumptions you keep slamming into? What's the one question that if you really faced it might just shatter everything for you?